Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my 2018 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. Hello. Well, continuing our look at the horror section today, we've got kind of a special one for you, namely horror TV shows. I've got quite a few. Lots of movies, of course, as you know. I've also got quite a stack of horror TV shows, so much so I figured I think they deserve their own video in this overview. So let's check them out today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Okay, so I don't actually have a designated shelf for horror-related TV shows, so I just basically cleared off this shelf for the video here, just so we have kind of a showcase area where I can show them to you. So, let's start off with some family-friendly fare, where we have The Addams Family. There we go. Okay, this is the complete first volume. There was only 2 seasons, but they spread them across 3 volumes, so they just went with volume numbers instead. Then we have the complete second volume. And the complete third volume. I don't know why they called it the complete volume. Why didn't they just call it Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3? Done. Like, it just seems kind of silly to me. Anyway, if you got the Addams Family, you pretty much have to get the other one that it's often compared to, because they came out around the same time. We have The Munsters, the complete series. Now, people ask me, of course, all the time, which one do you like better? Because apparently you have to choose. Honestly, I like both of them about the same for different reasons. This one I liked more as a kid because it was monsters. Basically, it was sort of modernized, well, 60s takes on the classic monsters, which was a lot of fun. But now, honestly, I kind of lean towards the Addams Family just because I think it's a little bit smarter, a little bit better written. But I still love both of them. I enjoy both of them immensely. So I like them both equally. There's your answer. Then we have the Munsters 2 movie Fright Fest. This contains the 2 movies, Munsters Go Home and The Munsters Revenge. Sorry, Munster Go Home. I don't know why they didn't pluralize it there, but anyway. And then we have the Munsters Family Portrait. This is both of these are kind of redundant because all this stuff is in the complete series set. But we have basically an episode in color and in the original black and white. So there you go. Next up, we have sort of my horror anthology set. Now, this first one you may say is more sci-fi than horror or more mystery or whatever. Honestly, it crosses over into so many genres. Who can really classify it definitively? I just put it into horror because some of the episodes are well scary. We have the original Twilight Zone, Season 1, on Blu-ray. This is a region-free set from the UK. I keep meaning to pick up the complete series set, this and the 80s series in particular. I really loved the 80s series. I thought it was a great update with some terrific episodes. And one of these days I'll get them. And then continuing on sort of with the anthology horror here, we have, of course, Tales from the Dark Side, the complete series. This has been released a couple of times. This is the most recent release at the time of this recording. Basically, a lower-priced release in a gigantic keep case with disc trays in it. Fairly common re-release format for CBS video. And then we have Monsters, the complete series, which is actually from the same people who made the Tales from the Dark Side series. This is kind of a spiritual successor, but with a little bit more of a focus on, well, literally a monster of the week in this case. A lot of fun. Great series. And then this is an interesting one. A lot of people probably don't even know this exists. We have The Hunger, based in name only on the early 80s vampire film starring Susan Sarandon and David Bowie. But in this case, it was done as an anthology horror series, kind of more adult horror. This is definitely not one you'd see on regular television, I don't think, or one for the kiddies. But executive producers Tony Scott and Ridley Scott, and hosted by Terrence Stamp. I mean, this thing definitely has some classiness cred, you know. some good stuff. So this is the complete first season. And then in the second season was actually hosted by David Bowie. So there you go. So another connection to the 80s movie, even though really it was connected in name only. But now it's connected in name and Bowie. So there you go. And then we have the complete series of the Ray Bradbury Theater. Again, kind of a mix. There's some sci-fi, there's some horror, there's some mystery. I mean, it's Ray Bradbury. He was often referred to as a sci-fi author, but let's face it, some of his stuff was bloody scary, so I like to put him in the horror section. And then finally, for Anthology Horror, we also have a Haunting Special Edition. And this contains all of seasons 1 through 6 in one handy-dandy set. Very nice. Love me some ghost stories. So next up, we have... this was actually sent to me by a viewer. We have Riette, which is actually the a miniseries by Lars von Trier, famous director, and is actually the miniseries that Kingdom Hospital was based on. You may remember that one from a few years back. Well, this is where it originated. This is the original Kingdom Hospital, basically. And there was two miniseries. They're both like 2-part miniseries, I think, something like that. Yeah, roughly. So good stuff. And then we have, kind of getting into our vampire stuff here, we have The Strain, Season 1. I still have to watch this. I've heard it's really good. And a very generous viewer actually sent me the entire series. So here's Season 2. The other seasons I only have on DVD. But that's okay. If I find I dig it, then I will go out and upgrade to the Blu-rays. He mainly just sent them to me to watch because he thought it was really good and was one that I would enjoy. And then finally we have Season 4. They're fairly short seasons too. Like Seasons 1 and 2 are 13 episodes apiece. Seasons 3 and 4 are 10 episodes apiece. So not too big of a time commitment there. And apparently a really good and different kind of vampire story. And then we have an old favorite of mine. We've got Kindred the Embraced, which was the sadly short-lived TV series based on the role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade. I did a video about this a while back. You can check that out at your leisure. Very nice. This was actually a re-release, like a big deluxe special edition that they did a few years ago. Very, very nice. I've actually owned the various editions of this as they've come out over the years. This one is definitely the definitive one to get, though. All the same on-disc contents as the original release. I think it's just a repackage, but a very nice one. And then we have pop sensation Rick Springfield in Nick Knight. It was a TV movie. A TV movie which led into an absolutely wonderful TV series, Forever Knight. This is Season 1. Shot in and around Toronto and Ontario, Canada, and also set in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Great stuff. This is Season 2. Love the package design on these two. Very, very snazzy. And then finally, we have Season 3, which can be a little bit tricky to get. Apparently it had a lower print run. I lucked out and got it without breaking the bank too much. Really wanted to have the set complete. But great stuff. If you're a fan of vampire shows, you owe it to yourself to check out Forever Knight. It's one of the all-time greats. And speaking of one of the all-time greats, we of course have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the complete series. I did a closer look at this set not too long ago, so feel free to check that out if you like. It's very nice. Has all 7 seasons on here. It doesn't contain the movie. You got to get the movie separately. I actually still need the movie. They did do a re-release of it recently with an absolutely god-awful cover. I will get it eventually. And here we have Angel, the complete series. It's all 5 seasons. So we have the entire Buffyverse represented here. I just need to get the movie, and then we'll be all set. And then, of course, there's the comics. They also did comics of like a Season 8, and I think they did a Season 9. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. I'll probably read the comics at some point in my life. I'm not sure. We'll see. And then we got a couple of Halloween-related ones here. Brush that off. Got Witch's Night Out, which was a really fun Halloween special from when I was a kid, starring Gilda Radner as a witch who's just trying to be relevant again. It's a lot of fun. And this is a Mill Creek disc, so there's basically the special, which is the big showcase, and then a whole bunch of public domain shorts that kind of have a Halloween theme to them. Really fun stuff there. And then we have Roseanne, Tricks and Treats. So this is all 8 Halloween-themed episodes from the original series. Great stuff. Gotta love Roseanne's Halloween episodes. They were lots of fun. And then we have the Canadian series, Todd and the Book of Pure Evil, Book 1. This is a great show. I highly recommend you check this out if you like kind of twisted humor. I mean, we don't often get horror comedy either, and I gotta say, this one actually does it really well. It has elements that are genuinely horrific, and it's absolutely hilarious. This is a really, really good show. And then we have what I thought was the surprisingly good TV series based on The Crow. We've got The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, starring Mark Dacascos as Eric Draven, who is a name you may know if you watch Iron Chef. He plays the, the governor, the counselor, I can't remember. The guy who kind of runs the whole thing and presents the mystery ingredients and stuff. Anyway, he was Eric Draven in this, and he was freaking awesome. Really good show. I was actually very surprised. I was not expecting much going in, given how kind of meh the movie sequels have been. But yeah, the TV series is really good. Now this one I really like. We have the complete series of American Gothic. Short-lived TV series. Sadly only lasted 1 season. But starring Gary Cole as the most evil sheriff ever, which was really fun to watch because previously I knew him primarily from Midnight Caller, where he was kind of a late-night talk show host who also solved mysteries. Not as cheesy as it sounds. It was actually a really good show. And interestingly enough, this was also created and produced by Sean Cassidy, who was kind of a teen idol during, when I was growing up. And, then he went on to be a really successful producer. But this is a great show, very dark and twisted, and one of the first sort of horror-themed shows I saw that I found genuinely disturbing in places. Really good stuff. Sadly, it only lasted 1 season. And then, also somewhat Halloween-themed, depending what episode you're watching, we have Stranger Things. Yes, an absolute treat for anybody who grew up in the era I did. This was sent to me by longtime viewer Strumdog, and I will be forever grateful because this set was sadly unavailable in Canada, so he grabbed a set for me and sent it my way. Just fantastic. I absolutely love this show. I have seen the 2nd season as well. I do have Netflix, and this is the one that's, as you can see, looks like a VHS tape. Like an oversized VHS tape, but still very cool. And then last, but most certainly not least, we have what I like to call the Chris Carter-verse, which is a very scary universe indeed. So we have the X-Files complete series DVD set. I've done a couple of closer looks at this, one way back in like 2010, and then one more recently in which I showed it alongside the complete series Blu-ray set. So if you want to get a more detailed look at the innards of both of these sets, check out my recent closer look video because it'll give you all kinds of details about it. So there we go. Very good stuff. There's both of them side by side. Yeah. And you'll see also in that video I talk about why I keep both of them. At the time you're seeing this, if you're seeing this overview video, actually that closer look may not have been posted yet. If it's not up yet, it will be up shortly. So keep an eye out for it. It's coming soon. Unless you're watching this years later, in which case, go check it out. And that's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We've already looked at that one. What am I doing? And as I said, it's the Chris Carter universe, not just the X-Files. So we also have Millennium Season 1. You may recall a while back, longtime viewers, I had these original big box sets, and then I sold them. Then I got the complete series set and was complaining it didn't have as much package art, and the package art wasn't as nice. And then my coworker a while back gave me his entire DVD collection, and he happened to have all three of these big box sets of Millennium. So that's Season 1 and Season 2. So it kind of came full circle, if you will, and now I've got the big box sets again. Very nice. Gotta love Lance Henriksen. He's so, I don't know, stoic and perfect and compelling. He's an awesome actor. It was Aliens that put him on the map for me, although I had previously seen him in the original Terminator. And then we have a direct spin-off of the X-Files, The Lone Gunman, which only lasted one 13-episode season. And then finally, just to be complete, we also have Harsh Realm, which is actually more sci-fi, really, than horror. And some might argue that the X-Files is more sci-fi. I beg to differ. Chris Carter's modus operandi with the X-Files was to make a show that was really scary. And that sounds like horror to me. Not to mention the fact that this show is really scary sometimes. And I mean, it's one of those ones that transcends genres a lot, too. I mean, at the core of it, you've got mystery, and like supernatural mystery and government conspiracy and stuff like that. But there's elements of sci-fi in there. There's definitely elements of horror in there. So I tend to put it in the horror section over any of the others. And there you have it. Quite a lot of quality TV that's guaranteed to keep you up late at night. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks very much for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. And sayonara. Hi, how's it going? And if you take a look at my, I have another horror. Actually, shut up, me. Actually, you know what? Not gonna bother with those because I've already covered them in the scary stuff for kids. So fuck it. And there you go. Quite a lot of quality TV viewing that's gonna keep you up late at night. Alrighty, that is it for this episode. We'll see you in the... There you go. Quite a lot of quality TV viewing that's guaranteed to keep you up late at night. Alrighty, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. So until then, fuck you. Let's try that again.